So when you was like,
Shit, I was bored in there, bro. Word of my mother, bro. All we had was music appreciation and recreation time for like an hour, buddy.
Before OUSMANE would become the next up-and-coming Bronx drill rapper to keep your eye on, he was born Yusuf Doumbouya in Brooklyn, New York on September 19th, 2003. A first-generation immigrant from the Ivory Coast of Africa, Yus grew up a practitioner of the Church of Islam and would visit his home continent often as a kid.
What was it like the difference from being in Africa and being out here?
It's a big difference, man.
Yeah?
It's too much that we got out here that they don't got out there, feel me?
But faith wouldn't keep him off the streets. And after moving from his original neighborhood to Mott Haven in the Bronx around the age of 6 or 7, Yus would have to grow up fast, joining the local gang affiliation known as YGs, one that is known for having beef with nearby rival ops, the OGs, from Sev's side, the neighborhood where drill rapper K-Flock is from. But what we do know is that his mother, having immigrated from the Ivory Coast, doesn't speak a word of English. Otherwise, he says that the earliest years of his childhood were fairly uneventful, and it wasn't until that he smoked his first blunt at the age of 14 that things began to go a little sideways.
We was just little kids, just, feel me, little African kids, chilling, going to school, coming back. I wasn't really doing nothing as a little kid, feel me? But when I got a little older, that's when I, feel me, when I first smoked that first blunt.
Soon enough, Yus found himself kicking in store windows and taking part in other stupid things like that. Unsurprisingly, this would lead him to spending not inconsiderate amount of time in juvenile hall, somewhere around 18 months to be exact. For a while, Yus refused to speak about what wound up putting him behind bars in the first place, but he'd eventually reveal to P Films that he was caught and charged with the crime of burglary.
What did you get? What you went away for?
Burglary, my brother. I was struggling at a young motherfucker.
Yeah.
Keeping it a buck, word of my mother. Like, my mom, feel me, my mom didn't really have it. Used to kick in stores.
I heard a lot of used to beat on Yus when they were young.
All like, word of my mother.
As it turns out, being locked up could have been the very best thing that ever happened to him, at least at that time. While sitting around and killing time off his sentence,
but I heard I heard first off, UC was from Brooklyn, and then moved to the Bronx and then moved to Mott Haven. Like later, I think he said like 6 or 7. I don't know how accurate that is, but yeah, I'm guessing like you just went to Mott Haven, and then you feel me started getting like he started pressing them. I don't think that's probably true. I don't know. But am I the only one that thinks she's his ass? I don't think he's ass. I just think his voice just fucks him up a lot of times.
Used to kick in stores, all like, word of my mother.
As it turns out, being locked up could have been the very best thing that ever happened to him, at least at that time. While sitting around and killing time off his sentence, Yus wound up taking up some music appreciation courses that were provided by the state. Discovered a passion not for rapping, but for singing.
Yus used to be fat, bro. I forgot about that.
I was doing singing, like, I was trash, bro.
You was a singer?
Nah, hell.
You just used
I
to
was not jacking, I was a singer.
The only problem was he wasn't convinced his voice was all that solid. So this wannabe artist wound up switching things up after he got out and started working on drill records instead. That singer to drill line pipeline is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. OUSMANE's only just started dropping music more or less in the past calendar year. As a kid, he used to love to listen to artists like Chief Keef, LA Capone, as well as a bunch of other Chicago drill rappers. So once he was a free man, Yus booked his first studio session and kicked off his career with the release of a series of underground tracks on SoundCloud, with titles like Warning, Purge, and Up It. Now those early releases didn't find much of an audience, but another brief stint in lockup, OUSMANE would return
old USGs without the Batman voice. I'm definitely going
home in June of 2021 to drop his first music video for the track Warzone. That vid would pull in some considerable numbers, and only a couple months later, he'd have his first massive viral hit on his hands with Deadlocks, which would quickly rack up over 2 million views. After producing a few more music videos and accumulating millions more in views, OUSMANE started calling himself the face of the Bronx, and he meant it too. I mean, not only was he calling himself that, he created a whole song to go along with it as well.
Why is that your favorite song?
Because.
Because why? But be honest. You're the face of the Bronx.
Yeah, bro. That's the reason why I'm the face of the Bronx, bro.
The way that Yus looks at it, he may not have been the first person to create Bronx drill, but after coming home from juvie, he still managed to take the whole scene over in just 6 months. It is a persuasive argument, but as you might imagine, it also ruffled a few feathers of other Bronx drill artists who consider themselves the more appropriate holder of that title. I'm talking about guys like Shy K, a member of the OGs who didn't have a problem with Yus until he started going by that name. And of course, Shy K isn't the only rapper that USG's is beefing with. He's been having a back and forth with K-Flock since day one of his career, leading to Use celebrating K's eventual arrest on murder charges just a few months ago.
K-Flock, bye-bye. Bye-bye, K-Flock. K-Flock, you're fucking stupid. Stupid. Face of the Bronx, y'all.
Yo, bro, I know this is an obvious thing, but one thing I noticed, the Bronx drill rappers love Chicago drill. Pretty much any rapper you ask them from the Bronx expression, they say Chicago drill. It's a fact, bro. Like, I never heard him say Drake, Meek Mill, or Young Thug, Future. Yeah, bro. I mean, it makes sense, bro. Just by the way that, I mean, Meek Mill makes sense, but I don't know, bro. Just the way they sound, bro. The way they make music. That ain't too crazy. Meek Mill, that's a good one they could have said. But like Future, Young Thug, that's some shit for like fucking Yeet to say or some shit. I don't know. Anybody could listen to them type of artists, but to be inspired by them, bro, it's obviously Chicago drill. The way they diss people and the way they are so disrespectful, it makes sense. But I think, bro, they be taking it to the next level, bro. They be doing it too much, bro. Like I've heard a couple times where artists say it, but then it's like, bro, I've heard artists say some crazy shit in interviews, bro. It's like, bro, calm down. Like, I understand you're inspired by him, but chill out. Yeah, that is crazy, bro. Because I feel like the Bronx drill is like that second. There'll never be a Chicago drill ever again. The same like Chirac shit like that. But I think Bronx drill is the closest thing to it for real. Maybe UK drill.
We about to go up crazy, I heard. Yo, Nesty. You know the vibes, my brother. Nesty told Sally, I got Becky. You know the vibes.
Then there's Nas EBK, another promising drill artist who took dissing his ops to the next level when he leaked all of Use's personal info, including his social insurance number online. But Nas didn't stop there. He also wound up using that information to enlist Use in the Navy and posted the entire process on his Instagram story.
He was not in the streets, man. Nas EBK be fooling people out here. You see, one thing I don't like about people don't keep it a buck.
You know when you get a friend and they, sign you up for some like dating site for a preference that doesn't really align with you, and then he gets a bunch of emails? Yeah, it's like that, except with your ops. As much of a nuisance as that no doubt was for Use, to
Who the fuck does that?
be honest, he had bigger problems to deal with at the time. Look, at this point, we all know that being a drill rapper in the Bronx is about as dangerous as a profession as it gets. In fact, many of his fans originally believed that Use learned that lesson the hard way after being shot in his chest early on in his career, an event that they assumed led to his trademark Batman-like delivery. But to hear Use tell it, that whole gunshot wound to the chest thing is cap.
Did you feel like you had to kind of like start moving different, like protecting yourself more, just trying to stay away, focus on what you got to do?
Yeah, type.
Yeah.
Gotta be more on my P's and Q's, man.
Well, one may have been, but what happened next was not. Not long after denying having ever been shot, more rumors started flying around that Use caught a bullet once again, in an attack in early 2022. And as it turns out, this time it was true. On March 25th, 2002, Use was hanging around East 144th.
I don't know if I'm tripping, but definitely, Yushi's definitely got shot twice. Like, I've seen the scar. Doesn't he have a scar on like his stomach and shit? Like, it's not as big as like other people's shit, but that scar didn't just get there, bro. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I got shot in the chest. I think it was like the stomach type shit.
5th, 2002, Use was hanging around East 144th Street early in the morning when he was ambushed and shot multiple times, once in the back and once in the butt. Thankfully, Use was rushed to Lincoln Medical Center for treatment, where he was able to make a full recovery. Of course, that didn't stop the rumor mill from proclaiming his death, but Use made sure to hop on Instagram as soon as possible to let everybody know that he was still alive and kicking.
It was in the hour he said that shit. I remember that day, bro. I was like, what the fuck? Ain't no way Yushi's got again. And then like an hour later he said some shit. I was like, oh fuck. Motherfuckers was pulling up the Citizens app and all that. That shit was crazy.
Of course, that didn't stop the rumor mill from proclaiming his death, but Use made sure to hop on Instagram as soon as possible to let everybody know that he was still alive and kicking. After it all went down, Use refused to cooperate with police when they asked for help in figuring out who attacked him.
But I hear so many rappers dissing for getting shot on the chest. I wonder why no one really called out Bando like that. They have. They said Bando got shot and he never got back. But bro, Bando shit was crazy, bro. Like Bando shit, he got a whole like his scar go from like his damn near his chest all the way down, bro. I seen that shit. I was like, fuck, bro. That shit tough. They gotta, like, when you get shot in your chest, they gotta open your whole shit up, bro. Like, God bless.
Instead, he got right back to the studio and has been steadily releasing new music and videos all
I think also they don't diss him like crazy for getting shot in the chest, because you feel me, Bando is on the same level as USG's, musically speaking.
I mean, this dude got shot twice and he never skipped a month. I mean, kudos to this man. Instead, he'd release new tracks with titles like Dirty Dior, African Demons, and Warzone Part 2. Now, Use is fielding record labels left and right while turning down deals reportedly worth over $1 million, and putting together his debut project, which should hopefully drop sometime before the end of the year. And while there is certainly an endless amount of young drill rappers competing to be the face of the Bronx, USG still finds himself in the position to earn that title by sheer force of will. The only question is, once the dust finally settles on the Bronx drill genre years or decades from now, will we look back and concede that USG's really was the face of the Bronx? Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, after all, this is before they were famous. So thank you everybody for watching today's video. Please don't forget to let us know